Hello all, welcome to Brilliant Botany. So this is Chetana. So today I am here to discuss with you about the chapter 3 of a second PU, that is human reproduction. So in this chapter you are going to study how the process of reproduction is going to take place in human beings. So here we are going to start from the process of gametogenesis. Hope you know that gametogenesis is nothing but the process of formation of gametes. So starting from there till the process of lactation, that is production of milk after delivery of a baby. So throughout this chapter we are going to study from gametogenesis to lactation, which is nothing but production of milk. See, as we know that humans are unisexual organisms and they are viviparous. So what do you mean by unisexual organisms? That means to say single individual have single sex organs. Okay, so such type of organisms are called as unisexual organisms. So in case of male sex organ is present, and in case of female sex organ is present. Okay, that is called as unisexuality. Got it? Coming to viviparous. So what does it mean? Hopefully in the first PU you might have studied like oviparous, viviparous and ovoviviparous. Correct? So oviparous means the organisms which lay eggs are called as oviparous organisms. What about viviparous then? These are the organisms which are going to give rise to young ones are called as viviparous. So these 2 points you should never forget in case of human beings. First is unisexual and the second one is viviparous. Clear to you? And next. So before we enter into the process of reproduction, in case of human beings, we have to study some basic points regarding this chapter. So these series of events has to take place in an orderly manner in case of human beings. So now we are going to see which are those events for the sexual reproduction in case of human beings. Got it? So first event is gametogenesis. Gameto means gamete. Genesis means it is a formation. So what you are going to write for gametogenesis? It is a process of formation of gametes is called as gametogenesis. Got it? So this gametogenesis process will happen in both males and as well as in females. Okay, so now if the gametogenesis process takes place in males, such type of gametogenesis is called as spermatogenesis. What do you call for that? Spermatogenesis. But if gametogenesis takes place in case of females, then it is called oogenesis. Okay, oogenesis. So here, what is this difference between spermatogenesis and as well as oogenesis? In case of spermatogenesis, you know that sperm cells will be released. Okay, in case of oogenesis, egg cell will be released. Understood? And also you have to keep one thing in your mind, that gametes are always haploid in nature. Okay, so do you remember that our human body is made up of 2 types of cells? So one is a somatic cell, another one is germ cell. So somatic cells are also called as body cells, whereas germ cells are nothing but sex cells. Understood? And these somatic cells should always show mitotic division, which is nothing but equational division. Coming to germ cells. So germ cells should always show meiotic division, and this meiotic division is nothing but a reductional division. So when the reductional division takes place in the germ cells, it leads to the formation of gametes. So since it is a reductional division, so gametes which are formed after meiosis should be always haploid. So this is most important. Clear to you? Yes. So next event is insemination. So in the gametogenesis process, gametes are produced, that is sperm in case of males and egg in case of females. Coming to the insemination. So what is this insemination? It is the process wherein sperms are reaching the female reproductive system. Once again, insemination is the process wherein sperm reaches the female reproductive system. So when or how these sperms are going to reach the female reproductive system? That is by insemination process. That means in generally you can say that during insemination, semen is released into the female reproductive system. And semen, what is the semen? It is going to include fluid plus sperm. Okay, next, after insemination, what will happen in insemination? We know that sperms will reach female reproductive system. So once the sperms have reached the female reproductive system, the very next step is the fertilization process. So what do you mean by fertilization? It is also very important. Fertilization means it is the process of fusion of male and female gamete. Okay. So here by the insemination process, sperm has entered into female reproductive part, right? So once sperms has reached the female reproductive part, we know that in the female reproductive part, a gamete called egg is released. So here what happens? Sperm will fuse with the egg cell. That process is nothing but fertilization. So what do you mean by fertilization? It is the process of fusion of male gamete, which is nothing but sperm, with the female gamete, nothing but egg cell, to form diploid zygote is called as fertilization. If you just write the process of fusion of sperm with the egg cell, that itself is not the definition for fertilization. After fusion of sperm and egg cell, what is going to happen? Fusion of sperm plus egg, which is haploid. Sperm is haploid and egg is also haploid. When these two fuses, it is going to give rise to a zygote. So this zygote is diploid in nature. Okay, so this complete process is called as fertilization. Zygote formation is important. Clear? Which is a diploid in nature. Coming to implantation. Now, so fertilization process has been completed. Zygote formation is also completed. But now this zygote has to develop into an embryo. Okay. So embryo next will develop into a new individual. So before that, this zygote has to reach the uterus part, that too an endometrium part of the uterus. Clear to you? So if the zygote get attached to the endometrium wall of the uterus, so from there zygote will develop into embryo, and in that place itself embryo will develop into a new individual. Okay, that it's nothing but attachment of a zygote into mother's womb is called as implantation. Clear? And next is gestation. So what is this gestation? Once if this zygote gets attached to the womb of a mother, then we can say that pregnancy is confirmed. Okay, so when the process of pregnancy will be confirmed? Only after the attachment of zygote into mother's womb, then only the pregnancy period will start. And we know that in case of humans, pregnancy period lasts for how many months? It is for 9 months. Okay, so this 9 months time duration is nothing but gestation period. Okay, so gestation, how you are going to write the definition for gestation period? It is the time period of pregnancy which is going to last for about 9 months is called gestation period. Got it? And next is parturition. So after 9 months, so during this 9 months, what process is going to take place? Embryo is going to develop into a new individual. Okay, so within this 9 months, a complete new individual will be fully ready, or it will be fully developed. Okay, so there what happens after 9 months, when the baby is completely developed, it gives a signal to mother to come out. Okay, that is called as parturition. After 9 months, what happens? Delivery of baby is nothing but parturition. So this parturition is going to take place after 9 months. But in few cases, very few cases, and in rare cases, what happens? Due to some reasons, baby may get delivered in the month of 7th or in the month of 8th itself. Okay, so such type of baby will call it as premature baby, because only after 9 months a baby will be fully developed. Okay, but if it is getting delivered in the month of 7th or 8th, we call it as premature baby. So that is not required here. So for parturition, the definition for parturition is delivery of a baby after complete development is called as parturition. Okay, and next is lactation. So lactation is nothing but production of milk is called as parturition. So after delivery of a baby, so baby has to be fed with the milk. So for that purpose, in mother's mammary gland, soon after this parturition, due to some hormonal changes, that leads to the synthesis of milk. Okay, that is nothing but lactation, synthesis of milk or production of milk which is required for the breastfeeding of a baby is called lactation. Understood? So these are all the events which are going to take place in humans during sexual reproduction. Understood? See, if any one of the event is getting missed, so their reproduction process will be failed completely, because for the purpose of reproduction, obviously gametes are very much important in both males and as well as females. Okay, so once the gametes are produced, so insemination has to take place. So in order to take place the process of reproduction, sperm cell has to reach the egg cell. So that is going to happen during coitus or copulation or sexual intercourse. Next is the fertilization. So in the fertilization, what happens? Once the sperms has reached the female reproductive system, these sperms are going to fuse with the egg cell to form diploid zygote. Okay, that is nothing but fertilization. And next in the implantation, this diploid zygote, in order to develop further into a new individual, so it will search for a protective place. That protective place is nothing but womb. Okay, so zygote will attaches to womb, then it develops into embryo. Embryo later develops into new individual called as implantation. Okay, next is the gestation. When zygote attaches to womb, mother's womb, so from there the pregnancy period starts in case of females. That pregnancy period is going to last for 9 months. Okay, that time duration of pregnancy in females is called as gestation period. Clear? Next is parturition. So by the 9th month, a baby will be fully or completely developed. So now it is ready to come out to lead its individual life. So that is called as parturition, or it is also called as delivery of a baby. Okay. So next is the lactation. So once the baby is out, lactation process has to take place. That is the production of milk for the breastfeeding of a baby. Okay, so these events are very much important for the successful sexual reproduction in case of human beings. Now we have studied all the events that takes place during sexual reproduction. But how gametogenesis is going to take place, how insemination, fertilization, implantation is going to take place. So entire all these events are monitored by hormones. Okay, so entire events in the sexual reproduction are under the control of hormones. Okay, and these hormones are released by endocrine glands. Okay, so in the first year you might have studied about endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Okay, function of endocrine glands is to secrete hormones. You know that, correct? So hormones released by endocrine gland. So particularly endocrine gland called as pituitary gland. Okay, so this pituitary gland is going to secrete some hormones. So those hormones along with gonads. Okay, so gonads are nothing but the sex organs. Understood? So these gonads are also going to release some hormones. Means if you are not having any idea regarding this gonads, in very few seconds you will come to know what are these gonads. Okay, so don't worry about that. Hormones released by gonads and as well as hormones released by an endocrine gland called as pituitary gland is monitoring the entire events of sexual reproduction. Clear to you? Yes. So coming to pituitary gland. Actually pituitary gland has two lobes. One is anterior pituitary gland, another one is posterior pituitary gland. So there's both anterior pituitary gland and posterior pituitary gland are going to secrete the hormones. Understood? So these hormones are monitoring the events of sexual reproduction. And also hormones secreted by gonads are going to monitor the events of sexual reproduction. Okay, so here one point to be remembered. In the entire chapter, you are going to study from the process of gametogenesis till lactation. Okay, so you are going to study in detail about from all these events of sexual reproduction. And also you are going to study like how hormones are going to monitor all these events, which hormones are going to be secreted by these anterior and posterior pituitary gland, which hormones are secreted by gonads. You are going to study the names of hormones, their functions, and elaborately you are going to study about all these events.